Their destination is just ahead. They arrive at a massive, reinforced wooden gate built into the rock face. This was the primary entrance, the doctor says, used for transporting goods. Rhodey looks around. It seems they used to mine here, but, Yoshi watches, knowing the answer, they found a place with more precious ores nearby. So the miners repurposed this place for residence and storage, he concludes. The doctor and Rhodey put their shoulders to the heavy doors. As the doors creak open, they reveal a dark, cavernous space dotted with old lanterns. Well then, the doctor says, let us head inside. The doctor reaches up and lights one of the dusty lanterns. And with a flicker, light floods the abandoned mine. The interior is revealed to be a massive, furnished cavern, far grander than any of them could have imagined. The villagers stare in complete awe. Amazing Tilda, Carol shouts while Rhodey is left speechless. Even Yoshi is blown away. Oh, this is way larger than I imagined. Rhodey looks around at the dusty but sturdy furniture. It looks dirty all around, but compared to living in the wagon, this is a world of difference. He then spots a smaller wooden door set into the cavern wall. Oh, there's a room here. It seems the miners dug them out to have their own rooms to use, the doctor explains. The others are already celebrating, running through their new home. This is amazing, Rhodey yells. Yoshi sighs, guess no one's listening to the doctor anymore. Inside one of the rooms, Kem gently takes Gam's hand. Big brother, we have safely arrived in a new land. She leans in close, whispering, get better soon. In another corner of the cavern, Layla and Carol make a discovery. It seems there's spring water flowing in here too. They find a stone furnace and cooking supplies. Yeah, Carol cheers. We can start with the housework. That's great to hear, Layla replies. The two of them cheer, ready to make this place a home. Woohoo, but before that let's all do a big cleanup. Yoshi smiles, feeling a sense of accomplishment. They managed to secure a safe place to stay. I'm eternally indebted to the doctor for this one. The villagers finally have a fortress to call their own. While the doctor watches over Gams in one of the private rooms and prepares another dose of medicine. Gams is finally able to rest peacefully. Out in the main hall, Rhodey takes charge of the cleaning effort. Everyone, be quiet so you don't wake Gams. Let's clean this place so well he'll be shocked when he wakes up. Yeah, they all shout in a hushed cheer. The group immediately gets to work, sweeping away years of dust and grime. Take out anything that looks useless, Rhodey directs. I'll leave anything broken but repairable in a corner. All right, Layla responds. As Carol sweeps near Gam's new room, she stops. A mischievous idea pops into her head. There are 4 rooms here, she says dreamily, so I think I'll make Big Brother Gam's room mine as well. One bed is enough. Perhaps he'll sleep with me. She giggles and skips away happily. But from the shadows of a doorway, Kem has heard everything and her glare is terrifying. Yoshi winces. Kem is pretty scary. Kem seethes, muttering under her breath. Geez, isn't it obvious Big Brother would share a room with me? She's just a child, but still. Big Brother spoils Carol-chan too much. Even if she is a child, he should refuse her if he doesn't like it. Layla and Rhodey notice the sudden, tense atmosphere between the two. Rhodey sighs internally. I'm a bit concerned about Kem and Carol's relationship, but, for now, they're getting along as villagers. Yoshi looks at his screen, satisfied. With a secure home base, they can finally start building a real village. A genuine smile spreads across his face. He stands up and stretches, the morning sun streaming through his window. So it's noon already, he thinks. My eyes are tired and I'm hungry. Maybe I'll eat something. He opens his bedroom door with a click. And immediately freezes in the hallway. Ah, Jay. His sister Sayuki stands there, running a hand through her messy hair and staring at him with pure, unadulterated disgust. Horrible. Yoshi can only think one thing as he sweats under her gaze. Sayuki. The tense silence in the hallway is broken by Yoshi's voice. He's just run into his sister Sayuki, who's home from a holiday. Sayuki, so you were on holiday, huh? But she just stares back, her expression completely unreadable. Yoshi, looking disheveled, tries to break the awkward standoff. I'd like to head down to eat. Could you move aside? He quickly adds, stammering, I have to head to the first floor as well. Sayuki must have said something because he awkwardly replies, Ah, is that right? But Sayuki isn't moving. She stands at the top of the stairs, blocking his path with an icy command. Make sure you don't use the bathroom on the first floor then. Yoshi is stunned by her hostility. You. His mind flashes back to a traumatic memory, a stalker with a knife, a moment of terror that seems to define their relationship now. Sayuki's sharp what snaps him back to the present. He immediately backs down, unable to meet her gaze. Nothing. Defeated, Yoshi turns away. I won't use the bathroom on the first floor. Don't worry, he adds, as Sayuki watches him retreat with a cold, disappointed look. As he walks away, she mutters under her breath, frustrated by his weakness. How pathetic. You think I'm stupid, don't you? At least talk back a little. Yoshi slams his door shut, the sound echoing his frustration. Slumping into his computer chair, he replays the encounter in his head. That damn Sayuki. She was a lot more grumpy than usual, wasn't she? He stares at his monitor, lost in thought. Ever since that stalker incident, whenever I meet Seiyuki, it always turns into a serious mood. A memory of a happier time surfaces, the two of them laughing, walking down the street with ice cream. We used to be so friendly. Now I can hardly believe this. But the good memory is quickly replaced by the horror of the attack, his own terrified face haunting him. If that incident didn't happen, would we still be close siblings now? A sharp pang of regret hits him. He shakes his head, trying to push the thoughts away. Even if I regret it now, nothing will come out of it anyway. Let's just move on. Deciding to escape his reality, he turns to his game. I think I'll check in on the villagers and then just call it a night. His cursor hovers over the entrance to the villagers' mine hideout and clicks. He navigates through the familiar stone corridors of the game. Inside the main cavern, things are looking much better. The area has been cleaned and organized. Layla sits at a table, satisfied. Phew, Tilda, it's pretty clean now, don't you think? Rhodey's arrives with little Carol and looks around. Hey, where's Kem-san? Layla explains. She said she was going to check in on Gams. Carol's ears perk up. Ah, that's so sneaky. Carol will go to Big Brother Gams as well. Rhodey's gently stops his daughter. No, just leave those two be for now. Carol looks up at her father, a little disappointed but understanding. He tries to cheer her up. Hey, stay with Papa instead for now. Why don't we go on an expedition of the cave? Carol's face lights up. Okay. She's already making plans. Once Big Brother Gams is better, Carol will give him a tour. The scene shifts to Gams's room where he lies unconscious. Kem sits vigilantly by his side. The village doctor stands behind her. Doctor, Kem says, turning to her. She offers to take over. Please, you should take a rest. Allow me to nurse my brother. The doctor looks at Gams, whose condition seems to have stabilized. Good idea, she agrees. The symptoms from his poison have settled down as well, so, very well, I will accept your offer. As the doctor leaves, she gives one last instruction. If anything unusual happens, please summon me immediately. Kem nods. Thank you very much. Alone with her brother, Kem gently takes his hand. Big brother, Kem is here for you. Back in his room, Yoshi watches the touching scene unfold on his screen. He smiles slightly, relieved. It seems Gam's condition is stable as well, so I think it should be fine to leave him be for a bit. Hello? Suddenly, a new button appears over the sleeping Gams labeled Dream. Yoshi leans in, intrigued. Dream? What's that? Since it's the word dream, I'm sure that's all it is. Right? His curiosity gets the better of him. I'm guessing I'll figure it out once I click it. He moves his mouse over the button and clicks. Instantly, the view on his monitor warps and changes. Yoshi stares in disbelief. Oh, the screen completely changed. He's now seeing through the eyes of a younger Gams who wakes up in a bustling adventurers guild. What is this place? A younger, healthier Gams walks through the guild hall. A guild employee hands him a pouch of coins. Here's your reward for subjugating the monsters. Congratulations on completing your first mission, Gams. Yoshi realizes what's happening. Gams when he was younger, this must be the dream he's having right now. The young Gams smiles gratefully. Thank you. A group of fellow adventurers approaches him. Gams, we're going for drinks right now. They're on us, so come with us too. But Gams politely turns them down with a bright smile. Sorry man, my little sister's waiting for me at home, so I'll be heading there. Watching from his desk, Yoshi puts it all together. By little sister, he means Kem, right? He watches the younger Gams eagerly run through the streets, a stark contrast to the grizzled warrior he is now. So Gams had such an innocent period in the past, huh? Young Gams arrives at a small wooden house, calling out cheerfully, I'm home. The game screen dissolves into a grim flashback. A disheveled, bearded man chugs from a large bottle. As he drinks, he notices a young Gams standing in the doorway. Ah, it's just Gams, huh? He grumbles, unimpressed. Gams glares, his face a mask of weary anger. So you're drinking again. His father snaps back. What's with that attitude towards your father? Gams doesn't flinch. He reaches into his pouch. With a heavy thud, a bag of coins lands on the table, startling the old man. My promise to you, Gams says coldly, for watching over Kem while I was out working. His father's eyes light up with greed. Ooh, gold, now I can buy more alcohol. Gams ignores the pathetic display and asks the one question that matters. Where's Kem? His father's face falls. He has no answer. The silence is all Gams needs. He turns and heads for the basement stairs, his father passed out drunk on the floor. At the bottom of the stairs, a horrifying sight awaits him. His little sister Kem lies on the filthy floor, emaciated and weak. Kem, Gams cries out in shock. He rushes to her side, his voice trembling with rage and fear. Hang on, how many days have you starved? Kem barely stirs, whispering, Big brother. Watching this on his monitor, Yoshi is appalled. You're kidding me, right? Isn't this child abuse? Back in the memory, Gams is overcome with guilt. I'm sorry, if I could have just made the decision to leave here with you sooner. He gently lifts his sister into his arms. Now then, let's go. As he turns to leave, his father stumbles to the top of the stairs, pleading, "Hey, wait, I was just careless since I was drunk. I'll be sure to abide by our promise from now on." Gamz's voice drops to a lethal whisper, "Move, unless you have a death wish." The sheer killing intent in his eyes makes his father recoil in absolute terror, letting out a pathetic scream. Without another word, Gams carries Kem up the stairs and out of that hell. They step out into the cold night of a snow-covered town. Their footsteps are the only sound in the quiet, snowy streets. Kem, weak in his arms, asks, "Big brother, where are we going?" Gamz's resolve is unshakable. "Anywhere that isn't here, Kem." Still trapped by fear, she whimpers, "If we don't hurry back soon, he'll get really angry." Gams reassures her gently, "We won't see him ever again, so don't worry, there's no need to be scared either." But the little girl's spirit is crushed. Big brother, maybe father and mother, hate Kem. Kem might have been a bad girl, since she was always scolded. Gams immediately shuts down her self-blame. "That's not true, they're the bad ones." With tears in her eyes, Kem reveals the true depth of their cruelty. "But they said, we're going to sell Kem as a slave since you're a bad girl. You're useless, so at least be of some use in the end." Yoshi watches, his own heart aching. Hey hey. He realizes these two were living in a far more horrific environment than I imagined. In the snow, Gam stops and kneels down, setting Kem on her feet to look her in the eye. "Kem, don't think of those two as your parents anymore. Forget them." He looks at her with fierce devotion. "Live with me from now on, or do you not want to, Kem?" Her reply is quiet but certain. "Okay, I love you, big brother." A small, tearful smile breaks through her sadness. No, Kem is content as long as big brother stays by her side. Gams pulls her into a tight hug, making a solemn vow. "Let's have a ton of fun from now on and become happy." The flashback ends, returning Yoshi to the present. On his screen, Gams is awake with Kem by his side. The screen went back to normal. Yoshi processes what he just saw. "I see, I now know how Kem got her brother complex." He muses, "With such a cool older brother, I can understand her becoming dependent on him." In the game, Kem sits faithfully by Gams's bed, clutching his hand. Gams's eyes flutter open. He looks at her and gives a weak, reassuring smile. "I must have worried you." The dam of her composure breaks. Kem throws herself onto him, sobbing with relief. "Big brother, what a relief, what a relief." Outside their room, the other villagers who had been waiting anxiously celebrate the good news. The entire village is overjoyed that their hero has recovered. Yoshi leans back from his computer, stretching with a sigh of relief. "Phew. Now I can take a breather," he thinks. All the villagers are happy too, since there isn't a man out there as dependable as Gams. He starts comparing the game character to himself. Gams is a hero, always fighting, while Yoshi is just a slob lying around his messy room. This is a character who would naturally be popular. Unlike a certain someone, he's handsome, strong. A bitter, self-deprecating laugh escapes him. Haha. He thinks of how Gams always protects Kem, and how he failed to do the same for Sayuki. Unlike a certain someone, he will always risk his life to protect you. Yoshi looks at the perfect, unwavering bond of the siblings on screen, then at the memory of his own failure. I'm sure the bond between these siblings will never waver from now on. His laugh dies in his throat. He looks down at his hand, feeling a strange wetness. Haha, what this? He touches his face and his eyes widen in shock as he feels a tear. I'm crying. He turns away from the screen, unable to process the sudden wave of emotion. The realization hits him with the force of a physical blow. Why, if I'm regretting it so much that I'm even crying, have I up until now? He collapses over his desk, sobbing uncontrollably as the weight of his regret finally crushes him. A single, desperate desire echoes in his mind. God, I want to change. As the front door latches shut, Yoshi's mother calls out, "We are heading off." From his window, Yoshi watches his father and sister, Sayuki, walk away. He overhears Sayuki ask, "Father, is that the necktie I gave you a while back?" Yoshi's expression is tired, distant. His father replies warmly, "Yeah, it suits me, don't you think?" Turning away from the window, Yoshi shuffles over to his desk. He sits down, ready to escape into his other world. On screen, the world of Village of Fate loads up, showing the villager Layla preparing a meal. Inside their new cave dwelling, Layla is busy at the stove. "Now then," she says, "could you set the dishes, Carol? Gams and the doctor are out patrolling, so let's finish making their meals before they return." Little Carol cheers, "Yes." Yoshi leans in, observing his creation. He thinks to himself, 3 days have passed since the villagers moved into the cave. With the new equipment and furnishings, their lifestyle has dramatically improved. Rhodys is seen building chairs, while Layla adds homely touches with flowers. Looking at the before and after of their camp, Yoshi feels a sense of accomplishment. It seems like it was worthwhile to pay for a miracle to happen. However, he thinks, the greatest blessing from that miracle was. Out in the forest, the village's protector, Gams, faces off against a monstrous wild boar. The beast thunders towards him. With incredible speed, it closes the distance. But Gams is faster, sidestepping the deadly tusks and landing a deep slash across the boar's side. The momentum carries the beast past him. Wounded but enraged, the boar skids to a halt. Gams braces himself, gritting his teeth. The boar turns, kicking up dirt as it prepares for another deadly charge. But this time Gams isn't alone. From the trees, a figure takes aim. It's the Dr. Mulus, his expression calm as he draws his bow. He lets the arrow fly. The shot streaks through the air, perfectly aimed. It strikes the boar directly in the eye, stopping its charge cold. Mulus lowers his bow, his voice steady. Gams-san, do not force yourself while you are still recovering. Gams looks at his fallen foe, then back at his savior. Mulus-san, I am most grateful. Yoshi watches the scene, a small smile on his face. A doctor named Mulus, he recalls, who I summoned with the miracle, a traveling doctor shows up. Not only is he a skilled healer, he's a master with the bow, the perfect partner for Gams. Plus, Mulus can use plant magic. He dried the logs for their new home in an instant, a task that would have taken months. It was even Mulus who led them to this cave. He's just too capable. Yoshi sighs, if only he could join the village for good. But right now, Mulus is just being treated as a guest. Nothing is known about him, and the conditions for getting him to officially join are a complete secret. As Gams and Mulus drag their prize back, Yoshi laments, for him not to join even after I spent 30,000 yen worth of fate points. This game isn't that straightforward after all. The villagers rush to greet them at the cave entrance. Big brother Mulus-san, thank you for the patrol, Kem says while Carol waves excitedly, welcome home. Layla smiles relieved, glad you're back safely. The sight of the massive boar causes a stir. Is that a monster? Rhodes asks. Gams confirms, yeah, we just hunted it. Layla's eyes light up, oh my, that means we'll be having meat for dinner, and Carol lets out a happy woohoo. But Layla's expression turns thoughtful. However, we don't have much seasoning or salt left, Kem adds, they're crucial for cooking and preserving meat. Watching from his screen, Yoshi nods grimly, that is certainly a concern. No matter how abundant the wild crops are, they can't rely on foraging forever. If they want a stable food source, they need seeds for crops and more seasoning. They have no choice but to start up a brand new farm. Should I call for a peddler then? Yoshi considers the options for establishing a farm. But, he thinks, his hand tightening on the mouse, there is a miracle I want to activate no matter what. The familiar, the golem. Yoshi picks up his controller, his eyes gleaming with excitement. I've only been able to spectate until now, but with a golem, I'll be able to get involved for real. His excitement fades as he looks at the cost. The problem is, the points needed are stupidly expensive, 700 points. In real cash, that's 70,000 yen. I already spent 300 points on Mulus, which nearly bankrupted me. But thanks to the villagers' gratitude for saving Gams and my daily prophecies, I've recovered up to 160 points. He checks his point balance. I get about 10 points a day, which means it'll take nearly 2 months of saving. He leans back exhausted. What a long story that'll be. The grim reality sets in. If I want to gain fate points faster, I'd have to pay, but my savings are already gone. I poured everything, all the money I've saved since I was a kid, into this village of fate. He buries his face in his hands, completely broke and stressed out. On the screen, the villagers gather for their meal, completely unaware of their god's financial turmoil. They eat the fresh boar meat, a rare treat they owe to him. The mood is cheerful and full of life. Little Carol's happy face is a small comfort. Watching them, Yoshi can't help but manage a faint, tired smile. He gets up from his chair. Sigh, I think I'm gonna make myself some coffee. He takes a sip, trying to clear his head. As he looks back at the screen, a thought strikes him. That reminds me, Kem and Gams were working on something together a few days ago. What were they making? In the game, Kem stands before Gams and the others, looking nervous. It's more or less finished for now, she says. Big brother, is it not disrespectful for it to be made like this? She anxiously wipes her brow, awaiting his judgment. And there it is, a crude, hand-carved stone statue set in a small alcove. An idol with offerings of flowers placed before it. It's their very first shrine, dedicated to their unknown, benevolent god. In the fledgling village, Gams gently pats Kem on the head. He reassures her, what matters is your feelings. This god is watching over us. I'm sure our thoughts are getting through to him. Later, Mulus and Kem approach a newly carved alcove in the rock wall. Is this an altar and a statue of God? Kem asks. Gams stands proudly beside it. Yes, Mulus-san, I apologize to God for this crude craftsmanship, but we needed a place to worship him. Watching from his monitor, Yoshi smirks. I see, so it was an altar, huh? He zooms in on the rough-hewn statue. So that means this statue is me, then, disregarding how it turned out. I'm pleased by their feelings. Yoshi leans back, pondering. Since it was carved so crudely, it's hard to tell if it's male or female. I was acting like a male god, but I wonder what the god of fate's gender actually is. Back in the game, Kem approaches the new altar, holding several large, reddish fruits. She places them gently on the stone slab. This is not much, but please accept it. The fruits begin to glow with a brilliant light. And in a flash, they completely vanish from the altar. The villagers, seeing this miracle, clasp their hands in prayer. God, thank you, Kem whispers. Yoshi observes the scene, trying to make sense of it. So because God naturally exists in this world, offerings that disappear isn't a particularly surprising phenomenon. Suddenly his point counter ticks up from 160 to 161. Oh, my points went up, that must be a result of the offering. A notification pings on his screen, catching his attention. A new message appears, fate points increase not only from feelings of gratitude but also offerings made to you. Yoshi thinks, oh, well, no surprise there. The message continues with a very game-like tone. The more valuable they are, the more points you gain. Yoshi groans internally. I swear, the way this thing talks, it's not like it's a TV host or something. But the implication is huge. It's big news to know that my points increase from offerings as well. If that's the case, perhaps I should discuss with the villagers to have them offer me anything they don't need. Yoshi imagines priceless swords and jewels being offered. I'd probably make more points with valuable items, but I don't want to be a burden on the villagers. Let's avoid sounding forceful. He begins typing a new prophecy. In the game world, Kem's Bible begins to glow brightly. She gathers the villagers. Everyone, we have received a prophecy today as well. As the villagers listen intently, she begins to read. I have received your tribute. I am most delighted by your feelings of gratitude. Kem continues, however, there is no need to burden yourselves. You are free to offer me goods that are extra or unnecessary for living. I can convert both goods and thoughts into miracles. Yoshi leans back, sweating a little. Oh, how's that sound? Even though I was being humble, it doesn't seem like I'm begging, does it? The villagers are moved. Gam smiles, he is concerned about us. Another villager, Layla, exclaims, what a modest being. Yoshi watches their pure reactions with a wry smile. They're so pure, I'm a little worried about them. If it were modern Japan, they would probably get tricked by scams. Well, actually, I guess they are getting tricked by a dubious religion as it is. The next day, the villager Roadies approaches Gams. Gams-san, please lend me a hand. Yoshi, watching his screen, perks up. What's going on? He sees Roadies and Gams carrying a massive log. Thanks to Mula-san, we no longer have any concerns about wood, Roadies says, so, how's this? They place the huge log before the altar, and Roadies immediately kneels in prayer. Just like the fruit, the log vanishes in a flash of light. Yoshi is stunned. So you can even offer something that big, huh? He watches them pray with genuine happiness. The day passes in the real world. Yoshi wonders, are they planning to make offerings every day? Is making tributes to God such a happy event to them? The hours blur together. Yoshi finally looks away from the screen. It's already this hour, huh? He stretches, completely absorbed. Time flies when you play Village of Fate, doesn't it? Suddenly his mother's voice cuts through the quiet. Yashio, you've got a parcel. Yoshi sighs, even though she could just set it aside. She's pretty impatient, isn't she? He gets up and heads downstairs. Did I win something again? His mother hands him a cardboard box. He takes it, looking at it quizzically. Then his eyes lock onto the shipping label. The sender, the Village of Fate. His jaw drops. Who? He panics. I got a present from a virtual world. No. He tries to rationalize it, objectively thinking this must have come from the game company. I must have applied for some contest. He calms himself down. Maybe it's reference material or a manual they forgot to send. Phew, getting flustered over nothing. But before he can inspect it further, his mom starts ripping the box open. What are you mumbling about? Don't just freely open it. Yoshi's eyes widen in horror. Inside the box are piles of strange, reddish, pear-shaped fruits. Oh my, aren't these fruits? His mom exclaims. They look like pears, but they're red like apples. I've never seen such a fruit before. An image of Kem offering the exact same fruit flashes in Yoshi's mind. His blood runs cold. No way. His mom, oblivious, holds one up. Did you score some exotic fruit? Let's have them for dessert today. Stunned into silence, Yoshi just manages to reply, okay. He takes one of the fruits, his mind racing as his mom heads to the kitchen. He brings it close, giving it a tentative sniff. It's kind of like an apple, but it's mixed with a faint citrusy scent. He stares at it, remembering the villagers' reactions. This isn't artificial. They all thought these were delicious when they ate them, right? With a deep breath, he takes a bite. His eyes shoot open. An explosion of flavor hits him, delicious. He can't believe it. This is genuinely the best fruit he's ever tasted. He tries to find a logical explanation. Maybe this is just a thoughtful arrangement by the creators. Were they trying to surprise me? It must be an ordinary fruit in some foreign country, just novel to Japanese people. He looks out the window as dusk settles. In any case, I managed to get some delicious fruit, so I have no complaints. Having brushed off the strange coincidence, he returns to his room. Oh yeah, he thinks, sitting at his desk. Let's thank the villagers for yesterday. He begins typing a new, considerate prophecy. Thank you for your continued tribute. God can survive without food, but he does take pleasure in it. However, do not force yourselves. In the game, Kem reads the words aloud. Food is precious to you. If you do not have a surplus, I am content with extra items aside from food. The villagers listen, moved by their god's kindness. There is no need to make daily offerings either. Put yourselves first. Yoshi thinks, this should be good. He looks at the screen with renewed determination. Once I save up enough points to obtain a golem, I'll definitely be of assistance to everyone. In the village, life goes on peacefully. Kem tends to the altar, grateful for their benevolent god. But Yoshi's peace is shattered by a frantic shout from downstairs. Yoshio. It's his mother and she sounds terrified. Come down here for a sec, hurry. Yoshi gets up confused. What is it? She seems a bit pissed off. He heads downstairs to find her pointing frantically into their yard. She screams, what are you planning to use this for? Yoshi looks and his heart stops. Lying in his backyard is a massive log, identical to the one offered in the game, complete with a Village of Fate shipping label. He stares utterly speechless. The image of Kem happily touching the log offering in the game flashes in his mind. But in the real world, Yoshi's face is a mask of pure terror as the impossible truth dawns on him. This joke's going too far. In his backyard, Yoshi strains against the weight of a massive log, grunting as he realizes, this is heavy, so wood was actually this heavy. Suddenly his mother appears at the door. What are you planning to do with that? She demands. Caught, Yoshi scrambles for an excuse. I'm gonna move it to the garden for now. He continues to struggle, sweat dripping from his brow. His mom sighs, unimpressed. Do something about it with that absurdly trained body of yours, she calls out before leaving him to it. After a grueling effort, Yoshi finally gets the log into the garden and collapses, completely exhausted. He thinks back to the prophecy he casually wrote, start by lumbering trees, realizing now that Gams and Roadies must have been doing some serious hard labor. But he shakes his head trying to ground himself in reality. No, that's just something happening in a game. Even if it's game design, I can't take this seriously at all, he thinks, still baffled that a real log was actually delivered to him. Fed up, he decides, I'm gonna file a complaint with the game company. Back inside, he pulls out the shipping label, searching for a way to contact them. Let's see, the contact number is, it isn't on here, then the address. His eyes land on the sender's location, and he freezes. Hokkaido, he thinks in disbelief. They went out of their way to send something like that all the way from Hokkaido. He immediately jumps on his computer, but searching the address yields no information about the company at all. Looking it up on a map, he finds a building that seems to match the sender's address, but it only deepens the mystery. Yoshi is stumped. It's hard to think that such a small company produced a game of this quality. Perhaps development was done elsewhere. His frustration grows. Ah, God, this company, just how secretive are they? He slumps in his chair, defeated. He can't afford a trip to Hokkaido to investigate, and even if he could, he doesn't have the guts to do it. Which leaves him staring at the massive log in his garden, with no answers and a very real problem. The next day, the doorbell rings again. It's another delivery. Yoshi accepts the package, a strange sense of dread washing over him. It's a cooler box, his bad feeling intensifies. He takes it to the kitchen, hesitating for a moment before placing it on the counter. With a deep breath, he pops open the lid. His eyes widen in sheer shock. Inside is a massive, fresh slab of meat. You really did it this time, you damn sons of bitches, he screams internally. There's no doubt in his mind, and it's probably a monster's. His mind flashes back to the game, remembering the giant boar the villagers had just hunted down. He recalls Kem and Gams offering the meat at the altar, with Carol cheering, this time let the god of fate eat as well. The meat was placed as a tribute, an offering to their god. Back in reality, Yoshi is freaking out. Hold on a sec, monster meat, you're kidding me. Just then, his mother walks into the kitchen, spotting the strange cooler. This is, she starts confused. Her expression shifts to suspicion. The fruits and log recently, you aren't spending money on something dubious, are you? Yoshi's mind races. How should I explain this to Mom? Thinking on his feet, he pulls out his phone. The truth is, there's a place online taking in ideas on how to revitalize a village, and mine was approved. Therefore, I'm currently talking with the villagers, and they're sending me their local specialities every so often as gifts now. To his absolute astonishment, she buys it completely. Oh my, is that so? Well, isn't that wonderful? He can't believe she fell for that. Yoshi bows deeply, trying to hide his relief. Well, I'm not lying, he rationalizes. I'm actually sending prophecies to help revitalize a village after all. He hands the package to his mother. Here, it seems to be wild boar meat they hunted over there. Go ahead and use it in your cooking. As she wonders aloud how to prepare it, Yoshi silently prays, it's safe to eat, right? This is definitely just wild boar meat that was designed as monster meat. After that, the deliveries became a daily occurrence. He was constantly getting something sent from the village of fate. The packages contained various kinds of exotic fruits, and what he hoped was just regular monster meat. Recently, he even received a strange crystal that illuminates when stimulated, which the villagers apparently use for lighting. He figures it must just have a light bulb or something built inside it. And to his dismay, he kept getting more logs. He was already on his third one. His mother's patience is wearing thin. "You once again," she says, exasperated. "I know, I'll deal with it now," Yoshi promises hastily. As he prepares to move yet another log, he wonders if he could sell them somewhere. The sheer weight of it is a constant, grueling reminder of his bizarre situation. And as he struggles seeing all these tributes pile up, Yoshi starts to form a hypothesis. Maybe the entire point of the Village of Fate game is to develop the village in-game. And in return, high-value items are sent to the player as real-life tributes. He wonders, does that mean this game was made for the wealthy? And I, out of some mistake, was selected as a test player. That night the family gathers for dinner. Yoshi's mother brings a steaming plate to the table. "Okay, for today I tried sautéing the meat I got from Yashio." She takes the first bite and her eyes light up. Delicious. Yoshi watches as his usually quiet father tries the meat. He eats silently, a nervous sweat beading on Yoshi's forehead. His mother turns to him looking energized. "Hey, Yashio, do you think we'll be able to get those fruits again? I feel like I've gotten healthier after eating them." "Sure," Yoshi replies, still a bit stunned. "I'll try asking the villagers." His sister Sayuki chimes in. Koyuki gobbled down on this meat too, saying it was delicious, before asking their mom for a second helping. Then his father speaks. "This meat is certainly delectable," he says, surprising everyone. "It's got a more natural flavor than the meat you get in stores. It has a consistency and taste that feels like you're truly eating meat." Yoshi is floored. It's been ages since he's heard his father say so much at once. He can't believe how pleased his dad is with the monster meat. Later that night, inspired, Yoshi heads outside with a saw. "Well, now that I have some lumber on hand, I may as well try various woodwork, since I might be able to teach the villagers something." He quickly finds it's much harder than he thought. This is a lot tougher than I thought, isn't it?" A voice cuts through the night. "What are you doing?" It's his father. "It would be a waste not to use the wood I received," Yoshi explains, asking, "Sorry, but I'll be borrowing your spare DIY tools." His father simply nods. "I don't mind." Yoshi tries to saw the log again, putting all his weight into it. His father watches him struggle. Yoshi grits his teeth, but he's getting nowhere. Finally he gives up. "Oh, it got stuck," he mutters, defeated. "Let me have that for a sec," his father says, stepping forward. He takes the saw from Yoshi and positions himself over the log. With a smooth, powerful motion, he slices cleanly through the wood, leaving Yoshi speechless. "Oh wow." His father turns back to him. "You're not handling the saw properly." Yoshi understands. His dad is just trying to avoid embarrassing him in front of the neighbors. He smiles slightly. Despite everything, they were still a family. From that point on, things began to change. His father started giving him advice, teaching him the basics of woodworking. Last weekend, the two of them worked together, using the logs to make planks and repair their garden fence. Inspired to help the villagers with their food, Yoshi asked his mother to teach him how to cook, and she patiently guided him. He eventually got good enough to cook on his own, and it became a new routine for him to eat lunch while playing, sharing his recipes with the villagers. In the game, the villagers praised his cooking, telling him, "Your meat offerings are delicious." But while some relationships were healing, others remained fractured. His younger sister, Sayuki, comes home from work, her face a mask of indifference. When it came to her, things were still complicated. Yoshi tries to break the ice. "We welcome home." She barely glances at him, offering a cold, "Glad to be back," as she walks past. Yoshi watches her go, then looks out the window. He knows the only reason he's able to talk to his family this much now is all because of the Village of Fate. He smiles softly. "Now I don't even know whether I've been helping the villagers lately or whether it's the villagers helping me." But as he sits back down at his computer, a single concern lingers in his mind. He looks at the game screen, where the villagers have built a wooden fence. It looks exactly like the one he and his father just built. Back in the game, Gams and Layla stand before the newly constructed palisade, a massive wall of sharpened logs meant to protect their new home. Layla looks at the fence, a hint of doubt in her voice. "Do you think monsters won't just jump over?" Gams, ever the warrior, is confident. "Don't worry, as long as we can stop it for a second, even if it gets over, I or Mulasan can take it down." Layla tries to brush it off, but Gams's face hardens. The real problem isn't a single monster but their numbers, especially if it's anything like last time. As they head inside, Yoshi reflects that the wall has at least given them some peace of mind. But as Yoshi observes life inside the cave, he can't shake the feeling that something is off. On the surface, everything seems peaceful. Rhodey's and Carol work together at a table. But even as they go about their chores, the villagers seem to be forcing their calm, a restless energy simmering just beneath. Even young Carol seems to sense the strange atmosphere, a question mark practically hanging over her head. Yoshi nails it down. Even their everyday conversations are kind of awkward, they're kind of boring. He notices a pattern. Everyone lets out a heavy sigh whenever they look at the wooden calendar hanging on the cave wall. His eyes zoom in on the final day of the month marked with a huge, ominous X. Is something special happening on that marked day, he wonders. Later the villagers are gathered around a table, the mood heavy and silent. Finally Carol breaks the tension, asking the question on Yoshi's mind. Say, everyone, why do you all look so gloomy? Gams is startled by the direct question. The other adults are visibly flustered, caught completely off guard. Gams and Layla exchange a tense, silent glance. Rhodey's and his wife try to play it cool, putting on an awkward, overly cheerful act. Papa and Mama are doing great together, we're always lovey-dovey, you know. But Carol sees right through it. It can't be, she insists. Everyone tenses up and sighs whenever they look at the calendar. Their forced smiles crumble, the act is up. The adults look defeated, unable to hide their anxiety any longer. Rhodey sighs, gently patting Carol's head. You see, we just didn't want you to worry. He decides it's time for the truth. Do you remember what we always told you back in the village, to never leave the house on the last day of the month and to go to sleep early? Carol remembers perfectly. Yep, you said we must never leave the village, right? And the adults would have really scary faces and get angry easily on that day. Yoshi realizes their strange behavior was all to protect the children. Layla then asks Carol what she knows about this world's calendar. Carol beams, proud of her knowledge. Yep, every month one of the 7 gods is in charge of the world, right? Yoshi's screen displays the 7 chief gods of this world, the gods of earth, thunder, nature, water, moon, fire, and light. This is some serious lore, and he makes a mental note. The adults praise Carol for remembering so well. But the clever girl isn't done. But Papa, if there are lots more gods, why only the 7 gods? A year has 12 months, so that's 5 gods missing. Impressed, Rhodey begins to explain the world's history. You're quite aware, aren't you? The 7 gods were originally only in charge of a week, the days of light, moon, fire, water, nature, lightning, and earth. Yoshi smirks, so that's their version of the days of the week. Interesting. Rhodey continues, explaining these are the chief gods who rule over many lesser gods, including the god of fate who watches over them. A light bulb goes off for Yoshi. So I'm one of the gods who follows one of the 7 chief gods. I've come to understand my position a little more now. Rhodey's story takes a dark turn. In the beginning, those 7 days would repeat, but there were conflicts amongst the gods, a massive battle. He describes a cataclysmic war that raged for 365 days, a chaotic clash where different gods held dominion over different periods of the year. The faction that ultimately won came to rule the world, becoming the 7 chief gods, in charge of both the days of the week and the seasons they conquered. It took a full year for the fighting to finally stop. Carol leans in, her eyes wide with anticipation. Then, what happened to the gods who lost? Rhodey's expression becomes grim. Well, that's the important part of this tale. He tells her the gods who lost were branded evil gods and were banished, chained in the depths of the earth. But their influence lingers. They continue to build their strength, and once a month they try to reappear in this world, lending their powers to monsters. That occurs on a day at the end of the month called the evil god's temptation. Layla finishes the explanation with a warning. Thus, it is dangerous to go outside on the final day of the month. It's the day the monsters' powers grow, turning them wicked. Back in his room, it all clicks for Yoshi. The tension, the fear, it was all because the evil god's temptation was approaching. He checks the in-game calendar on his monitor. Then he compares it to a calendar from his own world. The number of days matches perfectly. He does the math. Today is November 20. November has 30 days, which means there's 10 days left. The night feels heavy outside his window. Yoshi stares at his screen, a sense of dread washing over him. With the amount of fate points I can spend right now, I probably don't have any way to protect the villagers. He glances at the clock. It's almost 2 a.m. Just as he's about to log off, he notices movement on the screen. It's Rhodey, sitting alone at the table in the dead of night. Yoshi leans in, concerned. It's rare to see him up this late. Suddenly, Layla appears behind her husband. Hey you. She sits across from him, her voice soft with worry. What's wrong? You haven't been sleeping lately. Rhodey lets out a pained gasp. He clutches his head, his voice trembling. I can't get the last evil god's temptation out of my head. A horrifying flashback floods his mind. A burning village, swarmed by a horde of grotesque monsters. We were lucky and everyone was unhurt that time, but considering a monster attack of the same caliber. An image of Carol sleeping peacefully flashes in his thoughts. That I might lose my family this time, I can't help but be worried. Layla looks at her husband, her heart aching for him. From his monitor, Yoshi watches as she reaches out to comfort the trembling Rhodey. Yoshi is stunned by the raw terror he's witnessing. Layla holds her husband, trying to soothe his deep-seated trauma. As a vision of their burning hometown fills the screen, Yoshi is left with a chilling question. For roadies to tremble this much, what in the world happened during the last evil god's temptation? Our story rewinds to a seemingly peaceful day, roughly 3 weeks ago. In a quiet room, a young girl named Carol sleeps soundly, a picture book of fairy tales resting on her chest. As the morning sun streams in, she begins to stir. Carol sits up, rubbing her eyes. Where's Papa and Mama? She hops out of bed and clambers onto a chair to reach the mirror. Gazing at her reflection, she gives herself an enthusiastic seal of approval. Yep, I'm adorable today as well. Bursting into the kitchen, she finds her parents, Roadies and Layla, already preparing breakfast. Papa, Mama, good morning, Tilda. Her mother Layla smiles warmly. Morning, Carol, you're finally awake. Her father Roadies adds with a grin, sleeping beauty Carol, would you please go and wash your face? Carol gives a playful laugh. Oh ho ho ho, understood, and dashes out the door. Humming a little tune, she makes her way outside. She heads straight for the town well in the courtyard. She splashes the cold well water onto her face. Pee-wah Tilda, it's a bit chilly, but it's quite refreshing. She suddenly realizes her mistake. I forgot to bring a towel. Undeterred, she decides to fix her hair in the reflection of the water. Oh yeah, let's fix my bed hair, Carol is a good girl, oh my. A voice calls down from a balcony above. Did you wake up just now? Carol looks up to see a familiar face. Ah, Kem, big sister, she says before her mind jumps to someone else. Where's Big Brother Gams? Kem replies flatly. Big Brother is keeping watch at the village gates. Carol waves her hand dismissively. Why at Tilda, if Big Brother Gams isn't here, then I don't really care. A vein pops on Kem's forehead. Hey Carol CHN, she yells, but Carol is already sprinting away. The little girl ducks back inside, cheekily shouting, hold on. Back at the breakfast table, Layla looks up. Wasn't that Kem's voice just now? Carol, playing innocent, just shrugs. With the argument forgotten, she happily digs into her breakfast. Time to feast, Tilda. Her parents, Roadies and Layla, watch her with gentle smiles. It's a peaceful morning in their cozy home. Having finished her meal, Carol jumps up. That was a splendid meal, I will be back later. Layla quickly stands to stop her. Hold on, where are you going? Carol beams to Big Brother Gams. But it's too late, as Layla shouts, hey, you can't do that today, the day is. Carol is already out the door. She runs through the bustling town streets where a villager calls out, oh, Carol-chan, you seem full of energy, don't cha. She waves to everyone she passes, soaking in the friendly morning greetings. A vendor offers her some fruit, and she happily chats with him. Are Roadie-san and Layla-san at home? He asks. Yep, I think they're still there, Tilda, she replies before continuing on her way. She stops in her tracks, looking up in awe at the massive stone wall that encircles her entire town. It's as big as always, isn't it, Tilda? Her eyes scan the area near the main gate until she spots him. Gam, standing guard with the other soldiers, notices her immediately. Ah, I found you. With a cry of Big Brother Gams, Carol runs and leaps into his arms. Gams catches her, his expression serious. Carol, you mustn't go outside today. She squirms in his arms, confused. Why not? Today is a special day, he explains gravely. Take a look around you. There isn't a single child outside besides you, Carol. She looks down the empty cobblestone street and realizes he's right. You're right. The other guards stand by, their faces grim and ready. Looking back at the wall, Carol asks, Hey, did Big Brother Gams and the others build this wall? Gams shakes his head. No. There was a massive war here several decades ago, and this site served as one of the strongholds. After the war, he continues, refugees moved in, setting their sights on these solid walls to build a new life and prosper in this town. Carol tilts her head. Tilda, I don't really get it, but these walls protect everyone from any kind of enemy, right? Gams nods. Yeah, but just as he's about to say more, he's cut off. Carol. Her mother Layla has finally caught up, looking exasperated. Drats, so this is where you were after all. She snatches Carol up. Hey, stop running away, I have you now. As Carol protests, another guard turns to Gams. Gams, do you know them? Yeah, Gams replies, a hint of warmth in his voice. They're my next-door neighbors, and they've been really kind to wanderers like my younger sister and I. The guard scratches his head. Geez, they haven't the slightest fear, do they? Layla hugs Carol tightly, laughing. Well, ever since this town was established, it's a fact that these walls have never been penetrated after all. Gams watches them, his expression unreadable. Layla turns back to Gams. I apologize for my daughter's interruption. I'll be sure to thoroughly scold her afterwards. Gams simply says, Layla-san, be moderate. As she's carried away, Carol waves over her mother's shoulder. Big Brother Gams, I'll see you again later. Gams raises a hand in a half-hearted wave. But as they disappear, his hand falls and his smile vanishes. He looks up at the sky, his face a mask of grim certainty. He thinks to himself, sure, if there is a later. On the way home, Carol notices the townsmen rushing about. Mama, is there something happening today, like a festival? Back at home, Layla keeps her hands busy, trying to maintain a sense of normalcy. It'd be nice if it was a festival, she says with a forced smile. Nonetheless, we can have a feast tomorrow, Carol's eyes light up. A feast, woohoo. Rhodey watches them, the worry evident on his face. Outside, the mood is anything but festive. Men are shouting orders, frantically reinforcing the main gate with heavy wooden planks. Inside, the parents speak in hushed tones. For the time being, I've packed everything we need into the wagon, Layla says, just in case it comes down to it. Rhodey stares out the window. It'd be great if nothing happens, but... Later, the parents pray together, their heads bowed. Please, I pray that we can get through this day without issue. Carol, blissfully unaware, joins in with her own prayer. I pray for everything to stay the same and that we can welcome tomorrow's arrival. But tomorrow brings only darkness. As night falls, a command echoes from the ramparts, release the arrows. Below, a horrifying sea of monsters crashes against the stone walls. The guards cry out in disbelief. 10-20, no, there's more than that. We've never seen this many monsters before. A commander takes charge, his voice cutting through the chaos. A lot of different species have formed a faction and are attacking us at once. Either way, harden the gate's defenses. As long as we defend the gate to the end, they'll probably get exhausted without making any progress. The defenders fight back desperately, their spears finding their mark. A monster lets out a final, agonizing shriek as it's skewered and thrown back from the gate. And there, standing firm atop the wall, is Gams. Naginata in hand, he stares down the endless horde, his face set like stone, ready for the battle of his life. The flashback continues, throwing us into the heart of the invasion. A hulking, shadowy beast and its orc minions stand before the town gates. On the walls, the guards rally. Everyone, follow Gam's lead, we must not let these guys into our town, no matter what. The monster lets out a guttural snort, its maw a nightmare of jagged teeth. The battle erupts in a clash of steel and flesh. Monsters swarm the walls, met by the desperate town guard. But their defenses are no match for the sheer power of the beasts. In a shocking move, one of the monsters leaps clean over the wall, landing right in the middle of the defenders. Panic spreads like wildfire. No way, we're getting penetrated from within. The guard's formation is instantly shattered. One of the men can only scream in disbelief. What? Suddenly, they're fighting a war on two fronts. A massive ogre-like creature joins the fray, crushing the last of their hopes. Chaos reigns, the guards are cut down one by one. A defender cries out in his last moments, how did things end up like this? The monsters roar in victory as they pour into the defenseless town. Meanwhile, huddled inside their home, Layla and Rhodey try to shield their daughter Carol from the sounds of destruction. The house trembles around them as Carol whimpers, Papa, Mama. Rhodey pulls his family close, praying through gritted teeth. God, please, spare this child at least. But their prayers are met with the splintering of wood. With a deafening crash, their front door is smashed to pieces. Just as they brace for the worst, two figures burst in. It's Gams and his sister Kem, both covered in blood. Everyone, are you all right? Gams shouts. Relief washes over the family. Gams kun, Kem-san, Rhodey manages to say somehow. More importantly, are you two okay? Gams tries to put on a brave face. There is no need to worry. This is just blood from the enemies, and the blood on my little sister is from the people she healed. But Layla can see the truth in his eyes. Gams kun, how is the fight coming along? She asks, while Kem quietly insists, Big brother, allow me to continue mending you. As Kem's hand glows over a wound on his arm, Layla presses him. This is not the time to be ambiguous, is it? Gams finally breaks. No, it is not favorable. His voice drops to a grim whisper, it is hopeless. The gates were penetrated and a ton of monsters are invading town. The majority of able forces have perished. He looks down, ashamed. I pathetically abandon the front, wondering whether I could at least get your family and my little sister out. Gams looks them dead in the eye, his expression hard as stone. Unfortunately, this is now out of our control. We should flee right now. The weight of his words hits Rhodey like a physical blow. Layla holds Carol tighter, her face a mask of despair. But Rhodey quickly shakes off the shock. Understood, we have already prepared the wagon. We have also loaded it with several boxes of goods just in case. Let us leave. Without another word, the group rushes out of the ruined house. Gams takes point, sword at the ready, scanning for threats. They reach the prepared wagon. Now then, get on, Gams urges, helping Layla and Carol aboard. He and Rhodey take the front, the wagon's setting off now. But as they exit the barn, their path is blocked by a hulking ogre. Rhodey's face pales. They found us. Gams doesn't hesitate for a second. Get on the wagon, Rhodey-san, he yells, charging forward. I'll finish them off in a flash. He meets the first monster head-on, his blade a blur. The beast doesn't even have time to react. Another one swings a crude club at him. Gams easily parries the blow. He spins past its guard and cuts the creature down with a single clean strike. With the path clear, Gams turns back to the wagon. All right, let's go, he shouts, leaping aboard as Rhodey whips the reins. The wagon lurches forward, speeding through the ravaged streets. Inside, Layla and Kim can only pray as the cart rattles violently. Gams points ahead. The gates won't work. A portion of the town's northwestern wall collapsed though. We might be able to manage from there. All right, Rhodey yells back, steering the horses toward their only hope. But as they race through their hometown, Rhodey is forced to witness the true horror of the attack. His eyes widen in terror. He sees his neighbors, his friends, being slaughtered in the streets. The entire town is burning. Monsters feast on the fallen, their cries for help echoing through the inferno. Nu wuo, Rhodey screams, helpless. They navigate a path through the dead and dying, the screams of somebody, and help me, haunting them. Rhodey can't bear to look, while Gams remains grimly focused on the road ahead. Suddenly, a shape lunges from the side. A monster leaps onto the wagon. It's a scene of pure carnage everywhere they look. Tears stream down Rhodey's face. But before the creature can attack, Gams cuts it down without even turning his full attention from their escape. He points again, Rhodey-san over there. Through the smoke and fire, they see the collapsed section of the wall. The wagon bursts through the opening, leaving the nightmare of their burning town behind. The monsters continue their rampage, unopposed. Back in Carol's home, the flames consume everything. The last thing to burn is her favorite picture book, a symbol of the life and innocence they've lost forever.